Team's job here tonight, initially, is, yes, to try and silence the crowd if that's possible. They'll fire up as soon as Kyrgios does something special. But he needs to just keep his head down to the grindstone, as they say, and work hard and try to work Kyrgios into submission. Because there will be atmosphere in here at some stage.
Didn't miss by much, but it is a good indicator of just where Nick is mentally. Yeah, the tolerance for suffering tonight going to be key for both of them. For Nick, in terms of elongated, extended rallies that Thiem will definitely play out here. And from Thiem's perspective, obviously, the crowd getting on him. They're revved up.
General feeling is this court surface at Melbourne Park on all the courts is a little bit quicker. We know that. We know the reasons for it. We've discussed it a lot. You know, they've had more play on these courts leading into the Australian Open than they normally would. I think that probably suits Kyrgios in this matchup. I mean, we've talked about the capability of Thiem on a hard court, and he has it in spades. But that ball seemed to shoot through and catch him. It just skidded through a little bit.
It's also a smaller court, and in general, when you play on a smaller court in terms of dimensions, it feels quicker. Whether it is or not is another matter, but just when it doesn't have the depth that Thiem obviously likes to return, he's going to be close to the back Thiem returning. When he's out on Rod Laver, he's not close to the lines people when he's returning that often. So, as you say, they're subtle, but they're big differences for these players.
Changes the pace. It's unsettling, isn't it? Like he hits a nothing ball 2 or 3 times and all of a sudden explodes with a forehand, and it unsettles an opponent. And you don't want to lose your serve early to Kyrgios, because to break him is not easy.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how often Thiem goes to the two-hander off his first serve. Nick loves to return off that side. Opening game, breakpoint chance for the Australian.
Oh, mistake. This serve is something special. Incredibly accurate, this serve. So this is what can happen. It's early days, we know that, but it is a huge advantage for Thiem if he was to win this first set, because that brings the physicality way more into the match, but not to lose it. Dangerous to lose it. Right now, Kyrgios is trying to do everything he possibly can to unsettle Dominic Thiem. Almost disrespectfully, but that's him.
You can't deny how many people gravitate towards his matches, though.
So he played that between the leg shot at 40 love. At that stage, he thinks he's going to hold his serve anyway, so he can take a risk like that. But it's not beyond him to try it at break point down either. So, Pets, I'm interested in what your take is, but Dominic Thiem here, we know, probably in European language, he's an animal. He can go all day, train the house down, tough to beat. So he needs to just make this match go as long as he possibly can. Or even better for him, win the first set and have Kyrgios exerting energy and having to start again a set down. But if you get down a set to Kyrgios, he's a front runner extraordinaire.
Well, he couldn't have asked for a more ideal start. The fans here to support him couldn't have asked for a more ideal start. Dominic Thiem just trying to keep himself very composed down the other end.
Not sure you want to use too much energy early on if you're Nick Kyrgios, though. You know, in a strange way, Petch, there's Thiem's box there. He's got Alex Stober down the front on the right. His long-term trainer, physio. His father on the left.
Yeah, his dad Wolfgang is looking after him in the front there in the bright orange, as his dad is coach this week, of course, Nicolas Massou, unable to make it because he caught COVID. And what a great job the Chilean has done with Dominic. Dominic's dad, of course, a tennis coach in his own right as well.
You know, in a strange way for Dominic, the nerves now are lessened quite a bit. There's like a pressure valve gone because he's down the break. He actually will relax a bit more now.
You can listen, though. Yeah, I do. Okay.
Yeah, we've seen everything already from Kyrgios. We've heard quite a bit from him already, but the most important part of this evening is the scoreboard.
How aggravated do you think Dominic Thiem would be at this minute?
Not at all. I don't think he's going to be aggravated. He might have been a little put out that he's out on this court rather than playing on Rod Laver, which I think would have helped him. But once that sunk in, he's an amazing competitor. Amazing competitor. He doesn't usually get too flustered. His biggest problem tonight is what he just faced then, that serve. The reliability, the relentlessness of it.
We were discussing this serve earlier in the day with Wally Masur and Robbie Koenig, two of our fellow commentators, and Robbie asked, you know, who you think at the moment, out of all the top guys, whose serve would you take? And Wally and I took this one. For a number of reasons. And I compared it actually to Pete Sampras's serve. I don't think his second serve's as good as Pete, but the first serve may well be, and it is incredibly accurate. And he serves well when he really needs to matter, when he really needs it. That sign might be a little bit ahead of itself.
You think? It's been called in, I think. I didn't hear a call.
Well, if the machine doesn't go off, it means it's in. You can challenge it.
Yes.
Technology's hard to argue with, Mark.
Yeah, well, that is perhaps a little indicator that Dominic Thiem not handling the situation particularly well right now. That was a fairly simple pass for him. He's overthought it. Kyrgios has got away with one.
Yeah, the line was the play too, easy in retrospect.
But he's held twice. He's been pushed quite hard on both occasions. As this man, Kokkinakis, pushed Tsitsipas yesterday. How good was it to see him back in action, playing the way that he can? Let's hope he gets a run of good health, Kokkinakis. Tour's better with him on it. So good. It is ridiculous, ridiculously good. As Kyrgios just said.
You know, when he gets down 40 love on the team serve, Kyrgios, he'll keep the points short. He doesn't want to expend that energy. So you expect a short point here. There'll be no grinding on this one for Nick Kyrgios. I think it's inevitable that this whole atmosphere and the way Kyrgios starts and engages with the crowd, that you're going to have some doubts early. It just takes a while to settle, even for a wonderful player like Thiem.
But he'll do everything within his power, and it is a considerable power that he possesses to stay in contention.
Allow 15.
The accuracy of his serve just... I just get staggered by it, how on the money. He hits it on a dime, as they say, so often.
I mean, the ball's just not out of his hand for that long as well, is it? There's not a lot that can go wrong. He's got such a pure arm and a pure technique. And you look at the ball toss, I mean, it literally is out of his hand and he's hitting it. That's so good.
For me, the part of his game that I would like to see him improve a little more is his net play. Nick, he's not a traditional Australian sort of volleyer. He's flashy and he hits drop volleys, but the solidity of it sometimes, that wasn't good enough, that one. Oh, big miss from Thiem. He'll be disgusted with himself there. He was well and truly in that point, and he would feel that if he gets into a one-on-one situation from the back of the court, he's favourite. He just handed one there, but that's the tension.
He gave him the fake on the underarm serve there, Kyrgios.
Can you believe that? Full repertoire. Can you believe that? He faked that he was going to hit an underarm serve and then goes straight into his service motion and hits a bomb near the line.
And that's why we have a capacity crowd tonight. As many as they are legally allowed to have inside the John Cain Arena.
They made a movie about this, didn't they? Was it The Incredible Showman, wasn't it?
The Greatest Showman.
Okay, I knew it was something like that.
Nick's dad. And his thousands of fans packed in here for those type of moments. What a gorgeous lobby hit.
This is why it's so nerve-wracking too, playing against him for a number of reasons. It's nerve-wracking, but the biggest one for me is that you can't afford to make mistakes on your own serve. I mean, Thiem did it in the first game. He hasn't looked like really being in this set since then, and the set can be over with a serve like this man's.
It's a surface as well, unquestionably, that actually fits Nick's game, because any court he can serve big on. But for his backhand, a quick surface like this where the ball penetrates through the surface and stays low is so good for him as well. He can hurt you off both wings, which is not normally the case. He uses pace well on his backhand, but these conditions actually allow you for him to hurt you. And Thiem lost his first serve in the opening game, and he's lost the rhythm here again. And here comes Kyrgios.
Well, you just can't teach this stuff. You know, the ball comes onto the racket on a faster court, and it absolutely suits his backhand. He can generate more off his forehand with racket head speed. But yeah, you're right, Mark. Things are rolling along nicely here for Kyrgios, except for that last forehand miss.
Well, it was a scrappy game from Thiem's perspective. He's got away with it. Too many second serves, but Kyrgios couldn't pounce. He still has that valuable break, though, the Australian. 4-3.
That's a bad sign if you start guessing where he's going on the first serve. That's what happened there with Thiem. Could be one of two things. He can't pick where it's going. Well, he obviously can't if he starts moving one way, but it means Kyrgios is serving so close to the lines that if Thiem stays in the middle of his normal returning position, he can't reach either side. He guessed again, Mark. For me, that's a really bad sign. It means that he just can't pick where Kyrgios is serving. And his normal position is to be way back to give himself time. This serve's too good for that, though. Moved again, this time to the forehand. He goes down the middle.
Nick's having a good serving night right now as well. He's up at 76% of his first serves going in. His career average on hard is 64, so he has really risen to the occasion here. Usually has a ratio of 5-to-1, aces to double faults. He's at 7-to-1 tonight. Things very much in the favor of the Australian.
And he hasn't expended any energy either.
Thank you.
You just can't play your own game. I mean, I've never seen anyone else do this to Dominic Thiem. Throw him off so much. It looks like he can't play his own game, can't settle down and find the rhythm that he so loves from the back of the court. He's on the back foot constantly.
He's not finding his first serve as well. He's now under 50%, so Kyrgios risen to the occasion. Unfortunately for Dominic Thiem, he's not delivering with that first serve. That, though, was very special and needed.
13-15.
A little Austrian flair this time.
Good. Good. 14-15.
But he did go there again. And Thiem will do everything within his power to make him play here.
Interesting move. He just mishit the half volley, hit it on the frame. So he didn't get it on the strings here. And it causes the ball to go a shorter distance.
Thiem can't believe that's been on the line.
Gee, you know, if I didn't know the technology was there, Mark, I'd have to agree with him. We're sitting well above that, high above the court surface, but gee, through the air, and even when it landed, I thought, that's out, isn't it? Obviously not. Normally, Thiem's not going to miss those two chip backhands, is he? It's the Kyrgios factor. Can you believe it in this game? He gets the ball back and misses two of the simplest slice backhands.
Well, credit to Kyrgios here. He's brought something new to this game. Serve and volleying again behind that. Thiem very wayward with the return. He looks a little overwhelmed with everything here, Dominic Thiem. First set to Australia and Nick Kyrgios. Hometown delight.
All he needs is one break, Thiem, to settle the horses, so to speak. He needs to just bring Kyrgios back to the field a little bit, get his nose in front. One break is what it takes. You might find then if he can get a break, Petch, Kyrgios might go just off a few percentage points. Just drop his game fractionally if he goes down a break in the second set. And that can bring things back quickly onto even terms. But first things first, has to stay ahead with his own serve.
Clean start for the current US Open champion.
First game, second set.
Well, at least that's the type of point the team needs, even longer. He needs to get his teeth into a few backcourt rallies with Kyrgios and see if he can just get a foothold.
Kyrgios currently on a 7-match losing streak against top 5 players at Grand Slams. This would be some triumph for the Australian. That's where the speed of the court hurts Dominic Thiem. He's got longer swings than his opponent. And Kyrgios, with that flat backhand, using the pace he's given, if he can get it to that kind of depth, is going to create those kind of problems for Dominic Thiem. That was a sweet hit.
Well, that's not what Dominic Thiem needs right now. Wow. That'll get your heart rate up even more, because he knows how dangerous it is if he gets down break point against Kyrgios. That would be disastrous for the Austrian if he went down a break early in the second.
Well, there are going to be some slings and arrows of outrageous fortune over the fortnight and in individual matches as well.
You almost sounded educated there, Pitch.
Oh.
Wow, playing with fire a little bit, going to the lines, team.
30-on.
Forest School, Snaresborough. Nasser Hussain also came from there. One was a good sportsman. One sitting next to you.
I thought you were a modest man. You had a fair bit to be modest about. This crowd knows the big moments, don't they?
Yeah, they do. It's the last night to party for a while. Let's make the most of it.
Players are ready, please.
Break point, Kyrgios. Big point, big play, big moment.
Well, he's so competent when the ball gets on that backhand wing. You know, for most of us mortals, anything bouncing high there on an important point would have been hard to control probably, but he's so strong up there. Was able to play the shot that was needed for the moment.
Great tussle this game. Tennis at its finest. Tennis scoring system coming into play as well. The pendulum swinging.
It's unique, isn't it? I wonder if we'll look back, if Thiem does go on and win this, we'll look back at that break point and that high backhand he had there.
Well, it was the difference in the opening game, wasn't it, where he missed the drop shot on the backhand side off a pretty weak return from Nick that gave the Australian the early break. He's better than that normally up at net. He'll be disappointed with that outcome.
Really does need to hold here, or this match could get turned on its head very quickly.
Oh, yes. Bolt of lightning across the court.
Advantage, Thiem.
But he's on the edge here, team. He's being forced to play stuff like this, Mark, isn't he?
Absolutely. Kyrgios in this mood brings the best out of his opponents, even the elite. They have to play at their best to keep him at bay. He's feeling it.
I tell you what, if you've ever doubted the ability of Nick Kyrgios, this is just a light bulb going off, telling you how stupendous his talent is. Over 5 sets, back-to-back against the best, the top 5 in the world. That's still the question mark, probably. because he hasn't been close to winning a major, this lad. But at this level, this, as a one-off situation, this is as good as it gets.
It travels long, the game goes on no longer. Thiem hangs on this time. A different scenario than the opening set. Nice nod from Dad. He's happy. So's Dominic, 2-1.
Well, I'm assuming that was a forehand that Thiem hit, but he's so far back and so far out of court, there was no camera range. Couldn't see it.
He's got him. It's what they've come to see. And he delivers.
How do you stand on that?
Good.
I mean, okay.
No problem.
So Thiem is so far back as a tactic. A lot of players don't like it when he does that. They think it's disrespectful. But in this case, you can understand if Thiem's so far back.
It's about winning the point, right? That's what we're here for tonight.
That first serve for me is as good as Pete Sampras. It's not quite as big. Not quite as big, but holy smoke, is that accurate? Time and time again.
Thiem's just misread the flight of the volley totally, hasn't he? He's charging in, ended up getting it on his shoelaces.
Well, I think smart play from Kyrgios. You know, when Thiem is so far back, he's mixing it up beautifully to keep the Austrian guessing. And yes, he overran that ball, but he's so far back, Mark. You can understand him hustling to get forward. How big is this second set? Oh. It becomes a little dangerous too. I mean, I think he's got to use variety, Thiem, and the drop shot's part of it. It is. You don't want to get into some fancy touch shots with exchanges with Kyrgios though, because it's sort of his domain. He somehow seems to come up with something spectacular in those situations, and probably not the right thing to emulate it if you can help it. That's the stock standard stuff that Thiem needs.
I mean, in one way, though, even though he lost the point, by opening the face up and hitting the drop shot, it does force Nick to have to potentially look for that and cover, get him a bit closer to his own baseline. And then if Thiem can go deep with the ball, he gets it under Kyrgios's feet and gets him on the defense. Because I've been surprised at sort of how lacking in pace it looks like Thiem's ground strokes are from the back. Kyrgios is having no problem at the moment rallying with him.
14-15.
I thought he would rush him a bit more than he currently is.
With his power.
Yeah.
The team's power from the back of the court.
So maybe he's just using the drop shot occasion to try and shift Nick a little closer to his own baseline so that when he does come fast, it's onto the Australian quicker. That's a hammer. That's 2-12 down the tee, and that solves any problems that he has in his mind.
Team leads 3 games to 2.
3-2, second set.
Love 15.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, that was a great sneak. Snuck in when no one, I don't think, expected him to do so.
So disciplined tonight, Kyrgios.
Just not sure that's the play. Maybe it is. Maybe it's to keep Nick a little off balance. But I'm not sure.
I mean, they've only played 7 games against each other, right? He had to pull out Kyrgios in Nice when they were playing on the clay back in 2015. It's a completely different rhythm. You've got to make some pretty serious adjustments to the way that Nick plays. I think the flat backhand, heavily spun forehand, the quickness between points. I mean, these are all adjustments that he forces out of you. And I think you're right. I'm not entirely sure that it's the right play that the team's playing, but I think he looks a little discombobulated out there.
He certainly had a grimace on his face when he missed that short attempt, or the attempt at the short slice, drop shot, and missed it. He looked a little out of sorts, so a long journey ahead for him here. New balls. Impressive second serve. Went after it a bit more, caught Nick there. With the body. He's certainly unsettled.
Yeah, I mean, he uses his slice a lot, Thiem. I mean, that isn't a surprise to me. I mean, he's usually on a hard court, around 40% of his backhand's a slice. I mean, it is a shot that he predominantly uses to try and obviously get his forehand into play. You rip his... I think he's struggling to where to locate the ball against Kyrgios right now. Great footwork.
Took a bit of a risk. He virtually ran through that forehand there. I'm not sure he caught it right in the middle of the strings either, just a fraction off centre. That, with a bit of bad luck, that could have drifted wide. But a good result. Just feels so dangerous all the time on your own serve against Kyrgios.
Kyrgios again injecting a little bit of his own brand of tennis into proceedings out here.
Kyrgios maybe because you don't know what's coming from him in a stadium with no crowd.
Yeah, that's a big factor.
You know he's going to have to play awfully well to beat Thiem. And I hope that makes sense to our viewers because there's so many factors at play here, you know. Just the X factor of Kyrgios is making Thiem, in a way, not look like he is a #3 player in the world. Tell you what, though, just one set for Dominic and the whole complexion here might change.
You're going to see him mix up his return position at times, Thiem. Nicholas Massou coming in 2019, their first big win together. Indian Wells almost instantly cemented their relationship. And he does fluctuate with where he wants to stand. At the moment, Kyrgios is not having to serve that big. He just needs to serve accurately, and he's exploiting the angles that Thiem's given him.
Everything feels so tense, doesn't it? It just, there's so much at stake here. And, hey, it's only a tennis match, really, when you consider everything said and done. But in terms of a tennis match, the tension here is palpable. Thiem has only lost his serve once in the opening game of the match. Consider that.
15-11.
Even though every time he serves, if you're a Thiem fan, you'd be awfully nervous. See, I find that incredible. That shot from Kyrgios was a really poor shot that bounced in the middle of the court. Under normal circumstances, Dominic would just hit that for a winner. Tonight against Kyrgios, he misses it.
His younger brother Moritz in the crowd there as well, looking on. This is some edgy moments for the team supporters. His manager there as well. There's 4 against thousands.
Let first service. 15.
We know how good Kyrgios serves, but it's such an important factor in this match how well Thiem serves. If he serves like that, he'll be able to fend off the Aussie, you would think, to a large degree on his own serve, and then have a chance to work his way into the Kyrgios serve eventually. But if he doesn't serve well here, it could spell a lot of trouble. As soon as it gets within striking distance, or as soon as there's a small window of opportunity, the whole house starts yelling. Atmosphere goes through the roof.
Let. Second service.
Another big moment has arrived for the Australian. He conducts his orchestra. That is the courage of a lunatic.
That's called nerves of steel.
Wow.
I think one small thing, though, for me as an Aussie, that this crowd needs to maintain their respect for Dominic Thiem. And there was a couple, an isolated group there who didn't. I hope that changes. But, wow, what a moment for Dominic Thiem to get out of that.
Thiem at breaking point again. Fearless.
Wow. Well, let's not underestimate how much guts Dominic Thiem used there on these last two break points. This became very awkward. The miss-hit return, he handled that with aplomb.
A kaleidoscopic point of talent, emotion, movement, spirit. Whatever you say about Kyrgios, he is authentic to himself. And that was breathtaking. Fabulous. All of his endeavours come true in that last point. What a returning game from Nick Kyrgios. He'll serve for a 2-set to love lead. Might be the first time he's gone down the tee on the deuce side on the first point of the game.
Don't think I've even seen Nick Kyrgios this pumped up.
Three set points. Crazy scenes. Phenomenal tennis. And he is a set away from a place in the fourth round. Three times he's come back from 2 sets to love down. Dominic Thiem, of course, very famously recently at the US Open against Sasha Zverev in the final. That will be fresh in his mind. Everything he touches is turning to gold. He's the alchemist.
It's just been taken away from Thiem, the ability to compete in this to a degree, hasn't it? You know, you've seen players, I mean, we're just expecting that to happen now. You've seen players play this well before, but Dominic Thiem right now is not having a say in this.
This is otherworldly
It's
right now.
15-40 again, Mark. I mean, if he breaks in the first game here, you can just see him steamrolling here. Missed by a whisker.
Dominic Thiem looks as though he's caught in a riptide right now. He's just got to go with it as long as he can and try and hang on.
Almost got to let yourself go out to sea a little further and then swim laterally along the coastline before you come in. Oh, that is a clever shot. A little flick of the wrist. It was subtle, but super talented from Thiem.
Complicated, stressful, but ultimately successful in that opening hold. And there's the serve out wide. You don't have to go big down the tee too often just to keep your opponent anchored to the spot. And there's a lot of intelligence about the way that Kyrgios plays tennis. And that's just where the threat, the possibility that he may hit the drop shot actually helped him out there. Kyrgios was actually covering the forecourt. Popped up the easy one here. And time for something new. Break point for the first time in the match for Thiem. When it's your night, it's your night.
No one can tell me there wasn't an element of luck involved in that. It was intentional, but there was some luck there. And you're right, if it is your night, maybe it is. So hard to have control on the way he hits this ball. You need a tiny bit of luck. And Dominic must be feeling, well, is it the night that's not my night? It's just in the back of his mind now.
Trying to contain himself. You just wonder whether you get to a stage after 90 minutes where he needs to almost just release some of the pent-up frustration.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, don't shout during the point. Thank you.
Only shout when I want you to shout. He's a master, though, at using the crowd, isn't he? I wonder where, on the scale of Dominic Thiem's past and his playing history, I wonder where this sits, this situation, in terms of difficulty factor. One of the most difficult, I would think.
Yeah, but also one of the most fun as well. I mean, this is why you train, right? Not to play behind closed doors. If this isn't something that you embrace and enjoy, you're probably not in the right game.
And I think his personality is one that can handle it. You know, he just needs to be here, still involved in this match, in another hour and a half. If that happens, he's a big chance.
Tennis is about matchups. This is not a great matchup for him in these conditions. And he hasn't found his best tennis yet in the first hour and 32 minutes, but could be just around the corner.
Because if that happens a few times, it might happen more than a few. So that's where Thiem's mental strength has to stay firm if he's a chance. And Kyrgios here has created his own little patch of danger.
Patience is an action, and he has waited patiently for the chance to break, and he was good enough to take it third time round.
So it took one break. It's a set late probably for Thiem, as he would have wanted it, but his reaction there tells a lot about the character of the man. Dominic Thiem. Virtually no reaction when he finally broke the Kyrgios serve. Well, he's back in the match, and it's all ahead now for Nick Kyrgios in this third set. And this is where Kyrgios can drop his percentage of play here a little bit. He can drop off the peak that he's been on, and that's what tennis is about. These peaks and valleys of form during the course of a long 5-set match. That's what's so intriguing. We're just witnessing one of those momentum changes.
He's still focusing on the person in the crowd that called out in the rally a while ago.
40.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see him come out after the changeover and still be thinking about it. He's got distracted. A determined Thiem looks to push on to 3-love in the third. duly consolidates the break of serve. And suddenly the Austrian fans have something to cheer about. 3-love, Thiem, third set.
Gee, Nick, though, is dwelling on that break of serve, isn't he? His body language is saying, I'm still annoyed with losing my serve 2 games ago.
Definitely feels as though there's a little bit more on the ball from Dominic Thiem as well. He's timing the ball a bit better. He's not swinging any harder. He was swinging hard. It just didn't feel as though he had much on it, much penetration.
It's probably a combination, though. Kyrgios' adrenaline might have dropped off a bit now that he's down a break in this third set. That can contribute.
A shot that is perfect in terms of form and function. Delivers for him.
I reckon you might have had a bigger house if you'd had that serve, mate.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think we both know what we're talking about there. My serve, I could hit it and still contemplate life before it bounced for the first time.
No time for modesty.
15-11.
Yeah, good return, Nick. Well done, Kevin.
13-11.
So he's just lost his mojo for the moment. That's why 5-set tennis is so fascinating, I think.
And there's a bit of mixture coming in here as well from Thiem. He's slowed up that first serve then. Firm grip continues on this third set for the third seed.
Thiem leads 4-1. 15.
Is this serve, well, he's broken it once, but it is a very difficult thing to do.
Thiem investing nothing in tracking that down. I'm sure he could have got there, but that's interesting to note. Nick at times can, as you say, Fitzy go off the boil and kind of drift away entirely from a set, but he's still fighting here. He's looking for a way to try and secure his passage through to the 4th round in straight sets.
So just getting Nick Kyrgios to work a little bit harder too.
13 love.
So there's pros and cons here for both players, and it's, gee, there's a plethora of scenarios, isn't there, facing us and facing them. But the longer these longer points go on, the better it favours Dominic Thiem.
First service.
Yes, Dominic.
14 love.
Super dominant serving from Dominic Thiem in this 3rd set. Hasn't lost a point on serve since the opening game in this 3rd set. Of course, lost to Borna Coric the week before the Australian Open. Still struggling a little bit with an ongoing knee injury, so hopefully things still okay for him. They appear to be.
14 love.
Just given himself a little bit of a talking to there, stealing himself for one last push to try and rescue this 3rd set.
He hates getting behind in a game, Kyrgios, doesn't he? He wants that first point so it can start building the pressure. And mentally, he doesn't like to be behind here. Makes it a longer journey to win.
It was a good serve. It's exactly where you want to serve to somebody like Kyrgios. tuck him up. He's looking to try and possibly hit it and come in behind it.
Solid finish to the set here. The beginning of the fourth will be interesting.
Thiem red hot on serve throughout the course of that third set. Stone cold for Kyrgios towards the end of it. Couldn't pick up points.
Such a big advantage, I think, for Kyrgios to serve first, though. If he gets ahead, you know he's hard to break. If he can get that first one on the board and start exerting pressure, it won't be easy for Dominic. You know, when he loses his serve, though, Nick, he becomes a different player for a period of time, it seems, doesn't it?
Second service.
That is a suboptimal return from Dominic Thiem.
30-love.
So when he doesn't vary the pace, Kyrgios, to me it reduces the chance he's got of winning the point. If he just goes toe-to-toe with Thiem, that's the way the Austrian likes it. And I think the secret ingredient for Kyrgios from the back of the court is to mix the speed. Just takes away the rhythm of his opponent more.
14-15. He's
pretty sure he's taken already.
He certainly lost a little bit of concentration, hasn't he? But I mean, that's him. Sometimes he can play his best tennis when he looks like he's not concentrating, but it's at the moment it seems like it's hurting him a fraction.
Well, he's got something to lose tonight now. Came in with nothing to lose.
Good point.
And that changed when he won the second set.
Yeah, I hear you. He's not going to win his fair share from back there doing trading blows, I don't think. He needs to gather himself, Kyrgios. He needs something to have a crack at, doesn't he?
He does. He wants to immerse himself in the mayhem. Oh, that was an amazing effort on the return. Thiem almost scraped it over.
Advantage, Kyrgios.
Fabulous effort from Dominic Thiem. In charge, then suddenly had to scramble, but his application is sensational.
And surely, if you've been watching this match at home, you're not going anywhere. Surely. Don't tell me you are, please. But if you've just tuned in, don't you go anywhere either, because this is going to get really interesting, you would expect. Could it get more interesting than it's been so far, Mark? That's the question.
Thank you.
Thiem now has his teeth in the match, doesn't he?
Very interesting second serve there from Nick Kyrgios. Didn't want to roll the dice and hit a big second serve. He wanted to play a rally. Dominic Thiem right now is in the ascendancy in the baseline exchanges. Hasn't always been that way for the opening 2 hours.
You're not controlling the game, but people are just screaming out. Control it.
Come on, Nick, you love the NBA. It's what they do. They still...
What are we seeing here? That's just not normal.
Yes.
Unbelievable save from Nick Kyrgios.
Well, he changed his mind 2 or 3 times before he hit that ball. Surely. He could have done anything with that, Kyrgios. He throws that point away by being unsure which way to approach it. And what's coming next?
Can't have it both ways. He doesn't want people calling out, and then he says, great call, as the ball's in midair.
Well, he gave the compliment to the guy behind him for making the call.
Chaos.
composure from Thiem too.
Yes.
And we have a free seat to this.
Pure nonsense, pure wisdom.
He so often hits the shot you don't think he's going to hit, doesn't he? Those two backhands he hit there were extraordinary. The first one that he rolled across court in the middle of that rally, Kyrgios. I know he lost the point. But what are the thought processes? They're just different.
Well, that was a stabilising game for Dominic Thiem after the disappointment of not breaking through. Well, we're gone with a win predictor. So from the start of the match, it was a 70% chance of a Thiem win. We're now at a 64% chance of a Kyrgios win.
I just think anything here is unpredictable. Can you think of one thing that is predictable?
His first serve. Okay. He can be a planet without an atmosphere. He can certainly go into a different orbit at times. He can lose his anchor. A stroke of real beauty and effectiveness.
I think we've seen the full bag of tricks, haven't we, up until this date. It's whether they can continue to foil Dominic Thiem.
Take a bow. You deserve it.
He wanted Thiem to look at him then. Bad drop shot, wasn't it? Hey, can't hit every shot perfectly, but I just think something down the line there would have won the point for him. Nick keeps running, looks across at Thiem just to see if he got a glimpse of him.
The magnetic madness of Nick Kyrgios. You cannot take your eyes off him. Some shot on the stretch. How strong he is out wide.
14-13.
He's a bull.
He's definitely making more returns now as well. Asking a few more questions of the serve of Nick Kyrgios. Covered it easily in the end.
He just continues on. Thiem, he's like a train that just keeps puffing out smoke. Here he comes. Maybe it's an electric train. So trying even something we hadn't seen tonight, really. And just a little bit of desperation in Nick Kyrgios. It's understandable. He knows that Thiem can play not only 5 sets, he could go 7 if he needed to. Quick game for Dominic. And every service game now that Kyrgios comes up to serve, he's more under the pump now than he was earlier.
Well, you've always got to study the fine print when you take on Nick Kyrgios. read the terms and conditions, and certainly you get the sense here tonight that Dominic Thiem knew what was coming.
Was it a Bibi Bakila, the marathon runner, who said,
Love 15.
training only starts when the pain begins?
It could well have been. That's well above my pay grade of knowledge.
Well,
but it sounds very good.
Yeah, forgive me if I'm wrong, but that's what I see in Dominic Thiem. Now the match starts for him.
I was cutting it fine.
I think Thiem's got to go down the line with that. When Kyrgios draws him forward, if he goes across court and doesn't get it right, he loses the point. Because I mean, Kyrgios hit a strange volley there. I thought he should have pushed that down the line probably. But if he goes across court with that chip shot when he's moving forward, Thiem, he's out of position if he doesn't hit a stone-cold winner. Go down the line, keep yourself in the point, make Kyrgios hit a more difficult volley. Because Kyrgios is going to use this play more and more, you would expect.
Get out, take it, get out, get out.
14-15.
Gee, the mistakes become magnified, don't they? An easy volley to start the game, and that's a two-point swing that puts pressure on you right there.
And I think that I'm right in saying that's the first point he's lost on his serve in the last 6 service games. Ever since those chances that Kyrgios had at the start of the third. That had no chance of going in. He hit it so hard that even if he had skimmed the net, that was going to go wide.
So in general play, to me now, Kyrgios not playing as well, is he? He's making.
I think Thiem's playing better.
Yeah, that too. But I think Nick's gone off a little bit. He's not hitting every ball as well as he did earlier, but he's capable of flaring up and just putting 4 unbelievable points together.
Well, he's never played really Kyrgios before, as we've been saying, and you know, you do get incremental acquisition of information during the course of a match, and you get the sense that he's just starting to find some patterns that are working for him, a place where he's comfortable from the back of the court to boss Kyrgios around.
I think both players still on tender hooks because of the situation. It's just more animated down the Kyrgios end. I think as a competitor, you've got to think, okay, I'm feeling nervy, but think about what the other guy's feeling. Take strength from that. And the closer Kyrgios gets to 6 games in this set, the more energy you'd think he'd find.
Well, it just becomes more complicated for Dominic, doesn't it? Because he has to hit more balls to hold on to his serve.
And you can go 6 or 8 points without touching the ball on the Kyrgios serve.
Yeah, I think Thiem was expecting a call there.
40-11.
All he got was the sound of silence.
Gee, you've studied Paul Simon as well.
Sensational serving.
Highly likely team's going to have to win a tiebreaker here to survive. I guess I'm good at getting ahead of myself a little bit, Mark, at times, but it just feels like that to me. And there'll be tension aplenty.
That is what Dominic Thiem does so well. That one detonated off his racket.
40-11.
He is a gun, isn't he? All the attention here, because of the circumstances, has been focused so much more on Kyrgios, but this guy is truly a gun.
What a shot.
Well, if he serves like that,
4 games on.
Cooler than Austria in the winter. And that's, of course, where he spent the off-season this year for the very first time at home. And spent time away in Spain, in Miami the previous year. Pressure building.
And not a bad play, I think, for me. If Kyrgios comes forward, why wouldn't Thiem, with the forward speed on his ground strokes, go straight at the body and ask Nick Kyrgios a question? If he goes wide, Kyrgios really only has to get his racket on the ball. Now it's interesting, isn't it? Went for the serve volley. The bag of tricks. Well, that would have been trouble for Kyrgios if it had landed half a metre shorter.
And for all the great memories had here at the Australian Open, let's not forget that this is the only place that he has lost when he's been leading from 2 sets to love. Benoit Paire back in 2014 and Andres Seppi in 2017. Can he fight those demons as well as an inspired opponent?
Wow. Through the air, I wondered if that was an out ball mark. It's tough to tell from up here, we're elevated, but that almost looked like it might go long, and it was a tentative volley, wasn't it? Or was it totally deliberate to hit that short?
He can answer that.
Well, the serve is just extraordinary. May well be the best of this era.
Advantage, Kyrgios.
Well, call me crazy, but I'm calling that crazy.
It could be catastrophic.
I mean, that could be the difference here. This ball hits him in the leg when he did not need to do that. Nick. Why, oh why?
Spalding.
Well, all of the fun and excitement of hitting tweeners, as they call them, that might disappear in one result here. It might be outweighed here. Goodness me.
Got him. And it is so costly for Kyrgios. As will that be as he fires a ball out of the stadium. And his hopes of winning in a fourth have surely gone with him dropping his serve.
Point penalty, Mr. Kyrgios.
Point penalty. So Dominic Thiem will come out starting at 15 love, serving for this fourth set.
Well, he unloads on a forehand just as you feel he is becoming unhinged.
15-0.
Well, the lethal loveliness of that forehand is not lost on anyone. But more crucially, the value of it. Started the game at love 15.
Thank you.
Gee, there's great racket head speed on that second serve. Thiem, I love the way he hits it. He doesn't decelerate. It's total acceleration with spin at the body, pays dividends.
Second service.
Come on.
Wow.
Break point. Agonisingly close.
That was centimetres, I'd say.
Yeah, but I want to challenge. Okay, I want to see the serve. I want to see it. Can I see the serve? Yeah, I'm not. I want to see the serve. I want to see it.
Well, he can't see the serve, surely, Mark. It's after the point.
Yeah.
If you want to see it, you've got to go early. And the umpire...
There are no challenges. You can't see that. You can see the last shot of the rally.
Well, he can't show him, the umpire.
No.
He showed him.
Wow. Oh, that started a trend.
Well, yeah. The central umpire right now, Damien, he's breathing a sigh of relief. I'm staggered that the umpire allowed that to happen.
Me too. You're going to get players doing it every day from here on in.
Well, you just, not after the point. You can't do it, surely. Anyway, set point, Dominic Thiem here. I would have been ropeable to be Thiem if that technology hadn't shown us that.
I'm not sure. I've got to be honest. It's out. It's out.
Was there a call? Obviously.
Out it is. To a fifth we go. It was a difficult situation. Thiem found himself in. Tough, some might say, but tough times don't last for the Austrian. He's a tough guy and he's back into a fifth set.
You are getting a stack of enjoyment out of this, aren't you, fellow commentator?
Well, he's rare. There's no question about it.
How can the win predictor have it at 59.41? It's just, throw it out the window. It's hard to, you just can't tell. If this is not 50-50 right now, I'll go he. Is that computer generated? You know, when you teach the volley, you teach a young kid to get his head and eyes close to the racket face. Not stand up tall and hit the volley from around your hip area. But Kyrgios, he defies logic on some of these shots. He's served well, hasn't he? Just as solid as a rock, hasn't been phased. What a professional.
From the sublime to the ridiculous. And there is simply nothing in between. He is a man of extremes.
Can you stop screaming out, please? Thanks. Shut up!
Well, I've been watching tennis for a lot of years, Mark. I haven't seen anything like this, I don't think. You couldn't fantasize about this.
What a game. He's getting in with the body serve as we go back to the tennis, and a little bit of strategy so often on both sides. I kind of feel that Kyrgios on the forehand needs to cheat a little bit. Dominic's got quite a high ball toss. You actually can move. Just cheat once, get the ball on the forehand, get yourself moving to the center of the court. He's actually outmaneuvering himself, Kyrgios. He's taking himself out of the court by hitting that with the backhand.
Good serve.
13-0. 30 love. Hindrance.
Oh, gee, this is going to be interesting.
I mean, he's not wrong. Umpire's absolutely spot on. And he can't really let it go, because what if he does that at match point?
New balls, please. 2 games off.
I thought Nick might... Yeah, are you serious, he's saying? So he hasn't really... Yeah.
So you say that's hindrance, but some people's grunts aren't hindrance. How? How? How's it different? So Azarenka's grunt is fine, but that's not fine. Okay.
Well, in his own world that he inhabits, that was a good analogy. I'm not sure it's going to work here. I mean, he said it so loudly. There's no way the umpire can let that one slide, I'm afraid.
Ooh, he needs to be careful, Nick. Don't hit that ball anywhere near the umpire or the ball boy.
What a talent he is. Not many players would have been able to pull that volley off. Thiem so agonizingly close as well.
Interesting compromise there on the return.
30,
A slice forehand that ended up perfect. Well, he probably needs drama, doesn't he, to win from here? Who knows? Who knows in that world you you talked about, Mark?
It's just a sea of people as he was coming in out of their chairs. He's really cocooned himself well out here in this hostile wilderness, hasn't he, Dominic Thiem? Although a similar situation faced him in the US Open final down 2 sets to love, they didn't have the fans. It certainly wasn't this type of a divided atmosphere as well. Scandalous shot.
Yeah, that's just an extraordinary forehand. The difficulty factor on this is 10. Certainly 9.5.
Both players are ready. Thank you.
It's wide.
30.
We need some sort of green or red dot on the screen to come up because you can't hear the electronic line calling system.
It's taking more and more risk, isn't it? I think as the match wears on for Kyrgios to win points. I mean, maybe that's unfair, but that shot was low percentage. I mean, when they're at the back of the court, at least. Well, that crew has been through some long 5-set matches. This is probably at the top of the scale for them to sit through, but they've been here before.
He's done a good job of finding his optimum performance level here, Dominic Thiem. He is aggressively relaxed out here at the moment, and that composure shone through on that particular shot. There was no call.
Called good.
It's dropped in.
Gee, there was a lot of spin there. As it went past Kyrgios, you can understand him thinking it was going long.
It passed him at such a height, didn't it? It just didn't feel at that pace it could possibly stay in. It hung on to the line, though. Can Kyrgios hang on?
Thank you.
Wow. Clutch.
I mean, that is genuine genius. At that stage of the match,
40,
everything on the line.
30.
He feels like he doesn't want to stay at the back of the court too long with Thiem, so he throws in some junk like that, but it's smart a lot of the time, but it's tough to pull off when the pressure's on to hit that touch shot, that drop shot. And the pass, Mark.
Oh, Dominic Thiem, that is an incredible response.
That also gets a pass mark.
So easy to underhit that. How's your defense, Dominic? Outstanding.
Advantage, Thiem.
Well, he's earned this break point, has Thiem. He really has. This match on a knife's edge.
Outrageous, absolutely outrageous.
Well, he constantly hits shots you just are not expecting, Kyrgios. Thiem here's thinking, he's trying to decide which way he's going to go, and he's got a microcosm of a moment to decide, really. I think he pushed it wide because Kyrgios actually read it and started moving that way, and he just went a little bit wider.
Psychologically, he's won the battle from the back of the court. It's up to Kyrgios to come up with some magic here. Something unorthodox.
Well, the most common way is to hit a bomb. But after that, who knows if the ball comes back.
That is an absolutely brilliant return of serve, and he fully deserves that break. You know, the way that teams played this match, you almost feel as though mentally he came in prepared for the scenario that unfolded. He has been a mental giant out here.
13 left.
He deserves all the plaudits he's going to get for this comeback win if he gets there in the end.
How good do you have to be beat Dominic Thiem is the question.
Spectacularly good. is just Thiem at his finest.
Well, you can't. No one can accuse Nick Kyrgios of not throwing everything he possibly had at this tonight. And Thiem, after 3 hours and over 10 minutes, has finally hit the front. He's a machine. And no thought process either of not expending energy to try to break again, Thiem.
What a game, and he sets up a final chance to break Thiem in this fifth and deciding set. The Austrian leads 5-4.
He's got nerves of steel. That seemed like it was almost a let. That barely cleared the net, that second serve.
You know, he's done so well. He hasn't antagonized the crowd at all here. The only time he's actually really engaged with his box was after that beautiful return that elicited the mistake from Kyrgios to go up a break in the fifth. That's a lifeline for Kyrgios. He is such a great professional, and he has a great sense of purpose in the big moments as well. He has the luxury of raw power. He didn't have to flirt with the lines there, and it was good enough.
It ain't over till it's over, Mark. Nerve-wracking to the end. Well, Dominic Thiem deserves a serious amount of credit here. He's handled himself with aplomb. He is a warrior, and he's a gentleman.
And he may well be a winner. Match point. Absolutely startling way to end it as well. The comeback of all comebacks.
4-6, 6-3.
And on a magical night here in Melbourne, Dominic Thiem comes through an epic 5-set match. Well, we have witnessed something special out on the Cain Arena court.